Good morning, YouTube. Zipdisk here with the day 3 of my Seekers Week reviews. Today is something completely different. Well, not exactly. It's a Starscream. The first one I'm going to be doing. I have a bunch of Starscreams, so they're going to probably end up making up the bulk of my Seekers Week. Because as everybody knows, most of the Seekers are just repaints of Starscream. Today is something completely different, however. Today I am not covering a transforming figure. Now, usually I wouldn't count a non-transforming figure as a transformer, with the possible exception of Action Masters, but we all know how those worked out. This is the figure that Action Masters wish they were. And by that I mean Revoltech Starscream, only available in Japan from Kyoto Corporation. Kyoto produces the Revoltech figures, which are these amazingly articulated figures. But their joints are nice and tight. They don't get loose. They're ratcheted. Almost all the joints are ratcheted. I mean, listen to this. Arm joint. And they hold whatever pose you put them in. Which is fantastic, because that means you have an ultra-posable, nice representation of a character, in this case Starscream. Most of their figures are giant robots in this line. There's also a Fraulein Revoltech line that's girl figures. I had one of those, but I traded it off for a G1 Jetfire. Well, a broken G1 Jetfire, but that's beside the point. Still think I got a better deal than just having a little Oscar Langley hanging around on my shelf. Anyway, this is Starscream from the Revoltech line. He's a fairly accurate representation of his G1 self. Although I will say that the sculpts and molds and designs for these were pretty much taken from the Dreamwave art. So the Convoy or Optimus Prime one looks very odd because he has very small windows in his chest, like the art for the Dreamwave comics. As far as his sculpt goes, this guy is really good. I mean, look at that. That is a nice figure all the way around. I like the way they got the wings to look, and they kept the chest turbines. He's just great colors, and it's got this nice metallic red paint up here. You can kind of see that. It's a gloomy day here in Texas, which is good. We needed one. But it doesn't make for the best lighting for my videos. Anyway, just look at that nice red metallic. He got it on his chest, too. I love the way that looks. It actually makes it look almost like die-cast metal, which is a nice touch. Now, you don't get this figure because of this transformation, because it has none. You don't get this figure for, well, you get this figure because it looks like Starscream, and it poses fantastically. He comes with alternate hands, which I will show you, and they plug in nicely. I mean, they're not always the easiest things to get in, but let me show you. Let's take off his closed fist hand. Like I said, they're not always the easiest things to get off, but they stay on really well. And put on his open fist hand. See? He's got a nice little open hand there. And you can do things like hey, guess what, Megatron? L is for loser! Yes. Let me show you his box real quick before I get back into the figure. This is the box he came in. He's number 46 in the Revoltech line. I kept the little sleeve on the bottom because I like the way it looks. But if you take the sleeve off, it says on the bottom Starscream in English. This is Starscream in Japanese right here. It shows you what the Revoltech joints do on the side. On the other side, it shows you a pretty decent picture of him. But on the back, it's got some of the different poses you can put him in. Sort of I mean, I just love some of these poses. I picked up a Megatron partially just so I could recreate that pose right there, where he's on the ground and Megatron's standing on him. I thought that was cool. Anyway, it's a decent box. Comes really well packed. No twist ties, none of that. It's all just kept in here with some plastic. I like the way it looks. Onto the figure again. Here he is. My favorite hand he comes with, though, is one for holding a gun. And what gun would Starscream have? He's got a little bitty Megatron pistol, which is fairly well detailed, and it's got all the attachments, which I like. I think that's nice. Let me give him his pistol. His boss. It's kind of strange. Starscream gets ordered around by his firearm. kind of funny if Starscream went psychotic sometime and just started picking up random guns and talking to them like they were Megatron. Or more psychotic. His null rays also, you can move them around on his arms, so you can do all kinds of different poses with them, fold them out of the way if you want. I like it that way though, because it looks like he's going to blast you twice. Now, let me just show you some of the range of posability on this guy. Let me get him into a good pose here. And all of the Revoltech figures also come with a stand that you can put them in. So say he was flying and he's pointing at Optimus Prime and he's like, I'm gonna shoot you with Megatron! But he's got Megatron held in the ready position, of course, instead of actually using him. And it's like these kind of poses you can only get with the Revoltech figures. It's really, really hard to get regular Transformers into poses like this. Which is one reason I like them, so this line. I've only got a few of them. I've got the Megatron, the Hot Rod, or I mean the Rodimus, and two of the Gurren Lagann ones. But I really want more of this line, just because the figures look so nice on the shelf. I keep these on my non-transforming shelf. I've got it's the one back there that you can see with the Godzillas and whatnot behind me, directly behind my head right now. So it's my actually action figure shelf. I don't consider this guy to be an action figure. I consider him a posable figure that you just put on your shelf. And you could play with him if you wanted to, but he just looks better just posed, I think. I mean, and even, he's not the world's best stander, but there you go. I mean, he looks good. I like this figure. As far as this mold goes, and they've never recolored this mold. You'd think it'd be so easy to do a Thundercracker and a Skywarp with this, but they never have. It seems like they've just given up on the Transformers figures, because the only ones they released were an Optimus Prime, a recolor as an Ultra Magnus, of course, Megatron, Starscream, and Hot Rod. I really wish they'd do some more. An RC would be nice, too. That would be very cool. But this is Revoltech Starscream, who, for the price, I got him for a little less than 20 bucks. I think is a great deal. I mean, I picked him up at a convention, so, you know. I think he's a fantastic figure, and I would highly recommend him to anyone who likes just the way the Transformers look. Even if you don't want one even if you don't like the idea of a non-transforming Transformer, this is just a cool giant robot figure, which is what it's intended to be. They never intended it to be anything more than that. So, this is Zipdisk with day 3 of my Seekers Week. I'll probably have another Starscream in the next day or two, because I'm starting to run out of non-Starscream Seekers. I don't have that many. Although I'll probably do Acid Storm next. I like Acid Storm. He's a very different looking Seeker. I mean, as far as being a repaint of Starscream, which he is. But I like this figure. I highly recommend you guys check out the Revoltech line if you haven't. It's quirky, it's strange, but I love the posability, and the figures are just fantastic. Well constructed, well crafted, good plastic, and lots of ratcheting joints. I mean, come on, how can you not like a good ratcheting joint on everything? And they stay. I mean, you can put this guy in any pose you want, and he's going to stay that way. I mean, look. It's Starscream sitting Indian style. Sort of. I like it. I mean, I can't complain about this figure. I mean, it'd be nice if they could do this kind of posability on a transforming figure, but what are you gonna do? I mean, you sacrifice something for one thing, you sacrifice something else for another. And in this case, I think having a really nice animated version of Starscream that looks like the one from the original animated show is well worth the fact that his posability kind of stinks. Anyway, Zipdisk with Revoltech Starscream signing off. Have a great day.